Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed. A poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools, movie stars.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Thank you.
Thank you for picking me up. These shoes were just killing my feet. Ain't broke in good yet.
Well, I could see you was limping when you flagged me down.
Putting your wave my arm out before you stop.
Well, I'm used to spotting people who need a lift. I do that all day.
Oh, what a fine thing. You must be a nice man. Come on in and meet my family.
No thanks, lady. I gotta get going.
Oh, don't be in a hurry. Ain't near as late as you think. That clock of yours is way fast. Uh-oh. You stopped altogether now.
Are you talking about that?
Yeah. See, it says 6:30 and it's barely noon. You better get that thing fixed. It's probably a busted mainspring.
Lady, that means $6.30.
Oh, then forget it. You can get a new clock for that. Thanks again. Goodbye.
Hey, but lady, what about the fare?
Are you asking me?
I sure am.
Well, now, ain't that nice? Wait till I tell Jed. Jed, I'm going to the fair.
Who with, Granny?
Nicest man I met since I come to Beverly Hills. He works for something they call a cab company. But mostly he just drives around and takes tired folks home. He just brung me clean from town.
Well, now, you see, Granny, there's nice folks every place. Just have to take trouble to find them.
You better go out and keep in company, Jed. We're going to do a lot of walking at the fair. I got to get out of these high-style shoes.
All right, Granny. Oh, howdy there. Come in. Reckon you're the young fellow that brought Granny home. My name's Jed Clampett.
Oh, hi.
I don't believe I caught your name.
It's, Burton.
Burton, huh? What's your first name?
Richard.
Mr. Burton. Dick Burton?
That's right, and my wife's name is Elizabeth.
Well, doggy, Liz and Dick Burton. You know there's another Liz and Dick Burton? Yeah, run a feed store back home.
Feed store?
Been running it for 40 years. Back home, whenever anybody thinks of hogwash, they just naturally think of Liz and Dick. Sit down.
No thanks. Hey, what happened to the lady that just came in?
Oh, she'll be down in a minute. She told me about the fair.
Good, that's 6:30.
Well, you got loads of time. Sit down.
Well, glad you come in. I wanted you to meet my son-in-law. Ain't he a nice feller, Jed?
He sure is.
Gives you a whole new feeling about Beverly Hills. Well, changed my shoes. We're ready for the fair.
Me too. That'll be 6:30.
Oh, you two got lots of time to kill.
Yeah, we can go for another ride.
Not until I get my $6.30.
$6.30.
Well, the time I've been waiting, it should be $7.
What for?
For picking her up in town and bringing her all the way up here.
You mean you're going to charge money to a poor old widow for picking her up and fetching her home?
Of course, that's how I make my living.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
What?
For making folks think you're so kind and neighborly and then charging them money for it.
Lady, that's my business.
Well, I'm gonna make it mine.
Now, simmer down, Granny. Mr. Burton, I reckon what you're doing is within the law, but it's a mighty sorry way for a grown man to behave.
Oh, this has got to be a rib. The costumes, the mansion, the whole bit.
I didn't always live in a mansion. I was born in a little log cabin, but poor as we was, I'd have never took a penny the way you're taking it.
Never mind the Gettysburg Address. Just give me my money.
I ain't got no money in these clothes. You'll have to wait a minute.
You ain't waiting for no money. You have slickered your last winner. Death Row, Ellie Mae, somebody, fetch my shotgun.
Hey, look, lady, I'll wait in the cab.
You ain't waiting no place. You get off of our property.
Not till I get my 6:30.
All you're gonna get is 2 12s.
I'm going right to the police.
That's good. Turn yourself in, and when you get out, try and lead a decent life.
Who is he, Granny?
A feller that takes money from innocent women. Why, it's a good thing he showed his colors before he got me out to the fairgrounds and filled me up with cotton candy and soda pop.
Where'd you meet him?
He picked me up in town. Oh, butter wouldn't melt in his mouth. He was so nicety nice.
How come he left without his money?
He found out he couldn't get his silver without a little lead.
Now, Granny, you know good and well you wouldn't really shoot nobody with this.
What are you talking about? You know I've smoked the britches of many a chicken thief and revenuer with that gun.
Only when it was loaded with rock salt and bacon rind.
Well, it scared him good. Besides, it gave the chicken something to peck at the next morning. Jethro, you're just the rascal I'm looking for.
Well, what'd I do now?
Nothing. You're gonna learn me to drive.
Well, what for?
Hot. It ain't safe for a lady to walk the streets of Beverly Hills.
Is it all right, Uncle Jet?
I don't see no harm in it. When you get through with Granny, I might just take a go at it myself.
Come on, come on. What do I do first, boy?
Well, the first thing you do is turn that there what you call ignition key.
What does it unlock?
The electricity or something. Then the next thing you do is stomp down on the start. That's that there little button on the floor. And then you leave off the brake. Like this.
Doggy, she learned quick, didn't she?
She ain't learned yet. She had that thing in gear. Hey, Granny, step on the brake!
Jethro, instead of standing there yelling, maybe you better cut across and catch her before she gets out the gate.
Yes, sir, Uncle Jet.
What did you stop me for? I was just getting going good.
Bye, doggies. This is a red letter day. Two things I never thought I'd see. Granny driving and you cooking.
Well, I promised Granny I'd fix lunch for you while she's taking her driving lesson.
Well, even if she never steers that truck out of the front gate, it's worth it to see you getting broke to kitchen work.
Well, shucks, Pa, it ain't hard.
You're gonna make some man mighty happy.
Well, sit down to the table. I think victuals is pretty near done.
Yes, ma'am.
Ready, Pa?
You bet I am. Yes, sir, Ellie Mae, you're gonna make some man mighty. But I wish you'd look at that. I ain't seen one of them in years.
Well, turn to it, Pa.
You bet I will. See, this is an extra big one, Ellie. How about you having some?
Oh, no, sir. This is all for you, Pa.
Well, good. Say, you got some hot mustard I could smear on that?
Oh, it's got hot mustard in it, Pa.
Oh, good. Well, how about some sorghum to pour over it?
It's got sorghum in it, too.
Well, say, Ellie Mae, how about you brewing up a pot of coffee?
I got some boiling.
Boiling?
Yes, sir. I'll fetch it over. Eat it while it's hot, Pa. When it gets cool, it gets kind of tough.
You've been boiling that coffee for some time, ain't you?
Yes, sir, Pa. I want to make sure it was good and done.
Well, I tell you what, Ellie, now that you cooked me such a fine lunch, why don't you go out and see how Granny's doing with the driving?
Well, I gotta feed Skipper and JoJo first. Come on, fellas. Time for lunch.
I'll tell you what, Ellie, let me feed them. You go out and tell Granny about cooking victuals. She'll be right proud of you.
Yes, sir, Pa.
Here you are, Skipper. Let me see you tie into that. I'll tell you something, fellas. I hope Granny's doing better at her driving than Ellie is at her cooking.
How far have it drove, Jethro?
Oh, let's see. I'll cipher for you. We've been driving along at 35 miles an hour for a half hour. So you take half of 35. 2 goes into 3. Once, you bring down the 1. 2 don't go into 1. That leaves naught. You bring down the naught, and 2 don't go into naught neither. Granny, would you mind stepping it up to 40 miles an hour? Be a whole lot easier to cipher that way.
I'm tired of driving, Jethro. You take over for a while. I'm going to get some victuals.
Granny, don't never do that when you're driving along the street.
Are you learning to drive, Granny?
Been driving for a half hour. Nothing to it.
Well, let's see you do some.
Plain or fancy?
Oh, just plain, I reckon.
All right.
Oh, your wheel ain't touching, Granny. Just a minute.
Hey, Granny, put on the brake! Oh, that's the gas!
I can't wait to see her fancy driving.
Wowie! Who's driving that truck?
Hey, you the rascal that was smooth-talking Granny and tried to get her to the fair so you could fill her full of cotton candy and soda pop.
Oh, boy, this has got to be the Beverly Hills Funny Farm.
Hey, where are you going?
Look, I'm sure you're all harmless, but I gotta find the doctor in charge of this place and tell him that somebody left the gate open and 2 beauties got out.
You smooth-talking me.
Oh, boy. Look, honey, take me to your keeper.
Quick, fellas. Take the tug-of-war outside. We don't want to discourage Ellie.
Paul, that rascal that Granny chased. Oh, I see you ate all your omelette.
Omelette?
You want to fix you another one?
Oh, no. I mean, why don't you try cooking something different this time?
Well, to tell the truth, I just as lieve. These here golf eggs sure is hard to cook.
Golf eggs? These eggs you use in the omelet?
Yes, sir. You'll never crack it that way, Paul. I had to melt these rascals down, shell and all.
I think you best throw these out. I don't think they're strictly fresh laid.
Yes, sir, Paul. Oh, like I started to tell you, that there Burton fella, he's out front. Says he wants to talk to the foreman of this here Skull Ranch.
Skull Ranch?
That's just what he said. He was talking so funny that I just wouldn't let him come in the house.
Good girl, Ellie.
All right. You can take Jethro bird watching this one time. But from now on, concentrate on Ellie Mae.
Very well, Chief. You're the doctor.
Oh, hey, Doc, you're just the fellow I'm looking for. A couple of your guests just checked out of your Ha-Ha hotel.
What are you talking about?
Oh, the doc will know what I'm talking about. Hey, look, Doc, you know that little one called Granny?
Yes, what about
Well,
her?
someone left the gate open and she went tearing out of here about a mile a minute, driving an old truck.
Granny driving?
She doesn't know how to drive.
You're telling me she almost creamed the side of my cab.
Hathaway, get on the phone to the police. Explain the situation. Ask them not to arrest Granny, just to stop her and bring her back here.
Right, Chief.
By the way, what are you doing here?
I tried to collect some cab fare from Granny, but...
Granny called a cab?
No, I was cruising in town, and she was walking along the curb and waving and yelling at cars, so I picked her up. I thought she was a little peculiar, but I didn't think she was from this place. And when I asked for my fare, she chased me out with a shotgun.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, it's none of my business, but should they have guns?
No, they shouldn't, but I try to humor them. How much was the fare?
$6.30.
Here, 10. Keep the change.
Oh, thank you very much. Hey, you know, I've been driving a cab in this town for 10 years, and I never knew this place was here, right in the heart of Beverly Hills.
No, the less said about it, the better. Here's another 5.
Oh, thank you very much. Hey, for another 10, I can say that this is Knott's Berry Farm.
Excuse me, Chief. I have alerted the police. They have issued an all-points bulletin. Granny will be intercepted and escorted home.
Good. Well, if Granny's gonna drive in here, I'd better move my car.
Hey, me too.
Knott's Berry Farm?
Disneyland, a pick fair. For $10, you name it.
Granny, I can't take no more of your driving. Let's head for home.
I'm lost. How do I get there?
Get back the same way you got here.
Okay, hold on.
Hey, Granny, you just went past another red light.
Don't worry about passing them red lights. He's catching up with us.
Granny! This ain't the driveway!
Who needs it? I'm taking a shortcut.
Well, we'll be back shortly.
Here they come, Chief. Mr. Clampett.
Bye.
These Beverly Hills police certainly are efficient.
Best in the
The
country.
brake! Granny! Step on the brake!
Jethro, you ought to learn your Granny to park out front like you do.
Uncle Jed, I have done given my last driving lessons.
Granny, are you all right?
Am I all right? I beat that policeman here.
Lady, I've seen a lot of drivers in my day, but you topped them all. Now, would you sign this citation for me, please?
That's just fine. If you want to wait a little while, I'll go in and see if I can find a picture and I'll autograph it for you.
No, thanks. I'd just like to see your license, please.
Hunting, fishing, or wedding.
I'm Milburn Drysdale. If you'll step inside, we'll telephone headquarters and straighten the whole thing out.
Hey, buddy, come here. Huh? I can see you're a little confused. Don't you know what this place is?
It's like a private home.
It's a private home, all right, with rubber rooms.
What?
Yeah, it's sort of a very exclusive Freud factory. Yeah, you know, kind of a A happy farm?
The little woman I picked up, she's,
Bubbles in the think tank. I brought her back once today. She keeps busting out.
who's that big kid with her?
Well, I figure he's got a little space to rent, too. You know that tall geezer, the one with a scraggly beard? Thinks he's Abe Lincoln.
Well, who's the fella Drysdale?
Oh, he's the doc, the head shrinker.
Thanks, I'm glad you told me. Well, wait a minute, what are you doing here?
Oh, no. That's my cab out there. I'm waiting for somebody to bust out so I can bring him back. The doc pays real good for that.
Jojo, give me that. It's mine. Now you turn loose. You ain't supposed to have this.
Well, there's another one.
Yeah, she's trying to get away from the dog. Looks like a piece of rubber.
Probably wallpaper from a room.
Jojo, you come back here. Jojo, bring that back.
Well, there's another $15. See you later.
Glad that rascal's gone. Granny didn't cotton to him.
Is that because he picked her up and brought her back here?
Yeah, but she can drive now. Make it easier for her to get away.
Why would she want to get away?
Well, it ain't much fun being cooped up in here all day. I can tell you that myself.
Let's put it this way. If you're going to be cooped up, this is a beautiful spot for it.
Yeah, it's nice, all right. You know, I was born and raised in a little log cabin.
Really?
Yeah. Moving into here was like moving into the White House.
Tell me, this little old log cabin you were born in, was it around here somewhere?
Oh, it was way back in the hills, right smack in the middle of the woods.
I'll bet you did a lot of rail split when you were a boy.
It's a fact. Man and boy, I split many a rail.
Did you read by the light of the fire?
When I could find something to read. I used to have to walk 10, 12 miles to borrow a book.
And I'll bet you were always honest and returned it.
You betcha.
Officer, can I see you for a moment? Be right with you, Doc. Excuse me, Mr. President.
Yeah, reckon he heard about my corporation.
I spoke to the captain. I gave him my assurance that Granny would do no more driving. He said to tell you that everything is squared away, okay? Oh, well, all right, whatever you say. You're the doc's here. Quite a place, isn't it? It sure is. Hey, tell me something. How many of those rooms are upstairs? Oh, I'd say 15. Wow. Where do you think you're going?
Bird watching. You promised I could take Jethro.
Well, all right, go ahead.
Perhaps we should see a red-breasted nuthatch or a yellow-bellied sapsucker.
Oh, it's none of my business, but shouldn't somebody go along to keep an eye on those two? You want the job? No. Thank you. But there is something. You know, I've never been in a place like this. Could I go upstairs and look around? Sure, if you'd like to. Go ahead. On a second thought, I'm due back at headquarters. So long, Doctor. And you too, fella. Excuse me, Mr. President, but I gotta get out of here.
Hey, where are you going?
I'm taking the shortcut.
Like Granny opened up a new road.
Oh, here you are, Mr. Clampett. Now, remember, I promised the Beverly Hills Police that Granny will do no more driving.
I'll do my best, Mr. Drysdale, but that's a mighty muley little woman, and she has took quite a shine to driving.
Well, we've got to see to it that Granny.
She must have snuck around the house.
We've got to stop her.
Relax, Mr. Drysdale. It ain't Granny driving. Spunky little fella. You couldn't get me out in that traffic for money.
it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their hospitality. Hillbilly, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now. Here?
This has been a Filmways presentation.